Hello, I'm Jill. This is ASL Stew Life. So, I'm going to go ahead and explain about my first trimester so far. Now, we do have kind of like a backstory, but I thought maybe could make a different video for that, just because it's kind of a long process. Plus, I was wondering if you guys would like that, like in multiple videos, like how we made the decision to be ready, picking donor sperm, the IUI process. Like, would you guys prefer to have separate videos, or do you want an all-in-one video? So let me know which one you want. So we got pregnant around, the beginning of April. We did have an IUI. It was our fourth time, unfortunately, but I can explain that later. So anyways, we had an IUI, and I didn't think it was going to work. I did use Clomid for that one. And then after that, I would say maybe around 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks after that, for our wedding anniversary, our 7-year wedding anniversary, the two of us went to Niagara Falls in Canada just for a short weekend. And I kind of was in denial about like early possible symptoms, but I did have some. One symptom that I had, which I noticed, was I got really hot easily. Like, it wasn't hot inside, like we had the AC on in the hotel room and everything, but still I would get really hot, not like sweating or anything like that, but just really warm. It was really weird for me because I'm typically a cold person. Another symptom was I had a little bit of a gagging problem. Not specifically for that weekend, but kind of before that, plus, after that, I would have like a gagging problem. I would notice it was really random. I would just gag sometimes and then it would go away. It was really random when it would show up, but I thought that was kind of odd. Another symptom that I noticed, which was really weird for me, is I typically love food. I'm sorry, I just love food. So I remember when we went to Niagara Falls that weekend, we decided to go and just kind of look around. We saw a bird aviary, I think that's what it's called. And then after that, we went to the Hard Rock Cafe. And I remember, I ate there and it was good, but I wasn't really hungry. And then after that, we decided to go to the Hershey store. And I remember I didn't want anything. And, candy sounded awful, and I love sweets. I really always want sweets. And I thought, I bought something, but I didn't want it. Even when we got back, I didn't really want to eat it. And I just felt kind of weird. And then we went to dinner that night, and I did eat, but I just wasn't that hungry, at all, which is odd for me. So around that time, I did have some pains down there. I had some crampy kind of feelings, and especially right before I was supposed to have my period. I remember it was a few days before, and I just felt like something wasn't right, and I kind of felt a little bit of a cramp, which is odd for me because typically for me, the day of, I will feel the cramps and then I'll start right away, my period. So, but this was a few days before, which I thought, oh, whatever. It's probably just something odd happening because the previous 3 IUIs have always had really weird cycles for them. I don't know, it was different every single time. So I just thought, well, this is going to be another weird, not pregnant cycle, whatever. And then I'd say on the third IUI, we did try to do the home pregnancy test, the day before we had the blood test, the beta test. And that one, it was really sad because obviously it was negative. But we decided for the fourth one because, maybe it was going to be negative, whatever. So we would just wait for the blood test. And it just so happens that all of my blood tests for all 4 IUIs were on Fridays. Really weird. So anyways, we went ahead, went to the doctor early that morning, and got my blood drawn. And then I waited, and that was like 6:30 in the morning. Like, it was really early. So I thought, they would call me in the afternoon because I had to go to work and Jenna had to work. And we waited and waited and waited and nothing. It was like 2 o'clock and I had an early day and so I was done. And I went and I picked up Jenna and I thought I was just really concerned because I hadn't gotten a call yet. And I'm sure that means it's negative and they're just waiting. So we drive home and it was odd because I had my phone with me and the ringer was on, but I didn't hear anything. And I get home and I look at my phone and my heart started pounding because I noticed that there was a message from the fertility clinic. And Jenna said, do you want to go in the house before we listen? And I said, well, it doesn't really matter. It's probably negative anyways. Let's just go ahead and listen to it now. And I felt kind of bad because, see, before I had asked them, please call through the interpreter to Jenna so we can both see it at the same time. But they didn't for some reason. And I thought it was a little bit suspicious because for the third IUI, they didn't call through the interpreter, and the doctor said, well, it was negative again, and I didn't want to call through the interpreter, blah, 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 because it was really sad. And so I was like, well, obviously, this is negative. So I clicked on the voicemail, and I was listening, and the doctor's voice sounded like it was negative. She's like, oh, Jill, I just wanted to let you know we got your blood test, and her voice went down when she said and she goes, you're pregnant. And instantaneously I started sobbing, just sobbing. And I told Jenna, and I'm like, we're pregnant, and I'm going to start crying now. Whew, okay. I was just really excited. Yeah, okay. Hold on. I don't want to cry. I have makeup on. Okay. Anyways, so I was pregnant. Yay. I couldn't believe it, and we were really excited. And then I was like, oh my God, what is the HCG numbers? And I thought they were low or they high, whatever. And she said the numbers were good and everything was fine. And obviously after that, we've had a test after that, and the numbers went increased and they were fine. So again, some of the symptoms, like I said, when the first trimester are the gagging reflex, and I've had some pains down there, like kind of stretching pains. I remember at least twice, I thought for sure I would lose the baby. Like I had severe pains on there, like really, really bad pains. I remember one time we went to a food truck rodeo, and I remember I went there and I started walking. I did not feel good. I was kind of woozy, and I had to go back to the car and just lie down right away. And I was in so much pain. And it wasn't like specifically cramping, but it was just really painful. And I thought for sure I was going to lose the baby. And then I had the same problem another time, but I've been okay so far, knock on wood. And I did have one time that there was a scare and we had to go to the hospital, and that was 4 weeks and 5 days pregnant. And what happened is I was at home by myself because Jenna had went to a friend's house for game night, and I decided to stay home. I didn't want to play the game. And so anyways, I remember it was like maybe 6 o'clock, and I had just put like the food in for dinner, and then I went ahead, took it out of the oven, and then I had to go to the bathroom. So I put the food down, I went to the bathroom, and when I wiped, TMI, I noticed there was a little bit of blood. Not like bright red, but there was a little bit of blood, and I freaked out. My heart started pounding, and I was like, oh my God, I text Jenna, I'm bleeding, and it wasn't like blood like in my pee or anything, but I was freaking out. So I said, you need to come home right away. And I tried to call my fertility doctor, the clinic, but long story short, I couldn't get through. And so we decided to go to the emergency room, and really everything was fine. But long story short, like 8 hours later, I had an ultrasound, everything was fine. It was really early, so you couldn't really see much, but they said everything seemed to be okay for that time. So other than that, I've had no bleeding since, luckily. So that's good. And now I would say after about 7-8 weeks, I haven't had like as much pain down there. Every once in a while, I'll get like a short pain here and there, but not anything like severe like I've had before. And now more problems I have is that I'm tired. Little bit of morning sickness, but like no throwing up so far. Every once in a while I'll have like a smell problem, but nothing serious. Most of the time I'm just really tired, and yeah, that's the main problem I would say. So far, I've been really, really lucky. I've not had a lot of sickness, really minimum problems. So I am very thankful for that. I've had a really smooth and good pregnancy so far. So yeah, that is my first trimester. Now, I will be writing down more symptoms for the rest of the pregnancy. So let me know, do you guys prefer that I do like trimester videos, or do you want weekly, bi-weekly, or whenever I feel like it? Let me know. I don't know if I'm able to do weekly videos just because I feel like there's not much to tell you guys, but I can try. Well, let me know what you guys prefer. Oh, and one more funny story that happened maybe 2 weeks ago, well, probably more now as of filming this video, but probably around like 10, 11 weeks. I remember that one night I really wanted grape soda. And so I went ahead and stopped home after work. I got the grape soda and I drank a little bit. And then the next day in the morning, I tend to like ask Jenna, should I eat or have this? Just because she's better at controlling my cravings than myself. And so I said, I really want grape soda. And she goes, no, you really need to drink water first. And I was like, no, I really want grape soda. I don't want anything else. That's what sounds good. And she's like, you really need to drink water first. And I started bawling. I'm like, I really want grape soda. And she was like, oh my gosh, fine, you can have it. So that was the one time that I actually cried over grape soda. So I would say that that's funny, but I have random things, but we'll talk more about that later. Okay, so hopefully you liked my first trimester video. And remember to leave a comment about how often do you want the pregnancy videos, and do you want one or multiple videos kind of explaining the backstory before we got pregnant, our journey about the process and all that. So let me know those. And if you like this video, please click like and remember to subscribe. I noticed there's some really weird glitch happening with subscribers. It's kind of odd. The subscriber count's been like negative and it's been really weird. So just make sure that you're still subscribed and click the notification bell to make sure you get notified for the rest of these videos. Yeah, if you want to provide support for the videos, I will have links down below for our Patreon page so you can do monthly donations and get cool perks for that. Or you can do a one-time donation through Ko-fi for any amount. We really appreciate all your support. Now, I'm going to give you a belly shot. There's not much right now.